The more you talk, the more nervous I get. Great.
Come on, man.
All right, welcome back for another edition of Dock Talk, and today's topic is going to be waterfront improvements. And today we've got Chip Bryant with NB Boathouse here with us today. He's one of our trusted contractors here to learn a little bit more about what waterfront improvements actually are. Nobody better to tell us about that than the guy that can make that happen for you.
Let's start a little bit more basic than that, Hagen. Like, what is a retaining wall? What does it do? What is it made out of?
So the most typical retaining wall used today is a corrugated vinyl bulkhead used to shore up your property to keep the soil from washing away.
Do you do any concrete work at all, or is your recommendation almost exclusively doing a vinyl bulkhead these days?
Yes, exclusive vinyl. And the reason for that is it's very hard to do concrete correctly when the lake is full. You can't get a proper footing dug, so they will be undermined fairly quickly after they're installed. And they are considerably more costly to fix when they do go wrong.
Okay. It's hard to move concrete. You were just telling me about a property on Dunlap downriver from us. Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, Schuman's Beach. We graded all of that prior to the water coming back, and it's natural, no bulkhead at all. And it's already lost 8 feet, eroded back in the few short months that the water's been back.
And we haven't had any real boat traffic here. And so you're saying it's lost 8 foot, no big significant rains. That's a lot of property.
What doesn't help that particular piece of property was there was no vegetation growing on it. When you have no vegetation at all, it doesn't take much wave action to wash away the soil. If it washes away, it's typically gone for good. So you want to shore it up as soon as you can.
What would you say it's going to cost for that to be done?
I would say $275 to $300 a linear foot. And I would say water depth is one of the main contributing factors to cost.
So beyond just doing bulkheads, because that's not the fun part, there are all kinds of other improvements we can have, jet ski lifts, boathouses like we have right here behind us, but walk us through that, Chip. So what would you say just very basic cost for doing one slip with no deck on top, just a roof and a lift?
So as far as a cost, I mean, I would say 30,000-ish and 2 to 3 weeks for a single flat top with a 8,500 pound lift in it.
Also, if it's 30 foot off the end of your dock versus 5, there's going to be a lot more pipe to get down to bedrock, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you've given us the Honda prices, and a lot of times people end up
I mean, if you call me and want the Ferrari, just keep in mind that was the Honda prices.
Well, I mean, so give it that. We've always asked you, like, kind of what's the entry level? Like, what is the rough estimate of the nicest of nice boathouses that you've ever built?
I mean, the nicest single that I've built was just shy of 100 for a single lift boathouse.
Yeah, and I'm sure the double, the triples, you could get 250 real easy. That's awesome, because you're looking at a single lift, brand new boathouse on a piece of property that costs you 30-ish. I mean, you know as well as I do, that's going to add anywhere like $50,000 to $60,000 to the equity to your property.
Absolutely. When I'm doing a CMA for a client that's looking at buying something on the water, I'm giving a single lift if it's new construction and big 6-inch pipes. I mean, I'm giving that at least $50,000, probably closer to 70 credit for that property. So
immediate equity, which is one thing that's really cool. And one of the points that we wanted to have you on here is because a lot of our buyers are uncomfortable about waterfront improvements because they've remodeled a house, they've maybe even built a house, but they've never dealt with a waterfront contractor, and it's kind of a scary endeavor for a lot of our clients. One, they don't even know what waterfront improvements are a lot of the times, but two is like, how long does it take, once you start construction?
I would say on a bulkhead, we could spend 2 weeks. On a bigger boathouse, we could spend 6 to 8 weeks.
So you're looking, if you had a big project, you're looking 10 weeks and they're in and out. I mean, I don't know of any house remodel that's going to take you 10 weeks.
Never, man. And if you find the right contractor, you do not have to be there on site, babysitting, watching over them. Chip will take you from design to completion with little to no oversight as long as he's got good direction. So we've talked about functionality, retaining walls and boathouses, but from an entertainment standpoint, nothing better than boathouse with a big deck, possibly a swing or a place to jump off the top.
It's really setting your waterfront up to have those memories with your family and your friends. And so that's what you're building is the memory makers. You don't just build boathouses. Like right behind me, you're about to put in a rope swing. And that is fun.
I mean, that particular rope swing that we're gonna build here is really modeled after a tree. It mimics, big cypress overhanging the water.
Yeah, how far is that rope swing gonna throw us out?
Well, it's 24 feet in the air, so you're gonna be 30 plus feet away from the bulkhead when you hit the water.
Woohoo! I like it. I grew up on Lake McQueenie, lived in almost every neighborhood on that lake, and we always, like my family's criteria when they bought a place was it had to have a boathouse. Well, it had a boathouse at every place we bought, but we were limited on the boats we could purchase because the lifts were made for 1970s super narrow ski boats. You've kind of created a new technique or a new way to save a lot of people money, I believe. What did you start doing here recently?
The older boathouses that are too short, they were built 20, 30 years ago for little ski boats. My advice to every client that I ever met was tear it down and start over. You're not gonna find anybody that can raise the roof.
Yeah.
And after enough phone calls, I figured out a way to raise the roof.
Raise the roof.
That's awesome. That's something that nobody's thought to do, much less come up with the actual process by which to be able to do it. So super innovative, and I'm sure that he'll get lots of phone calls and want lots of people to be doing that for him.
You were a little nervous, I remember.
I was very nervous.
Yeah, I wouldn't let anybody get anywhere near it. Just stand back. I don't know what's gonna happen.
The concept I came up with it in my head, and it worked great in my head. But I had no idea if it would work until we tried it. And it actually went 100% to plan, worked flawlessly.
One thing I do want to point out that it's contracting related was, just give you kudos for helping out on Dunlap. The cool thing is there's several different things. Most people don't know there was one straightaway that wasn't going to be able to be cleared, and you just jumped on a piece of equipment and cleared it right before the lake came up. And otherwise, one of my favorite sections of this lake would be a forest still as the lake's full. So I appreciate that. And then also, there was a lot of debris because we were in a drought once the lake came up, and a lot of people couldn't burn their burn piles. And you didn't even wait for people to offer to pay you, or you just got on the boat and started picking logs out. You were on the boat with them.
Absolutely. I mean, I was there for 3 hours out of the 50 that Chip has spent out there cleaning the lake up. So yeah, as a resident and obviously the waterfront agent out here, props for that.
Since then, the GoFundMe had started, and which is everybody's really kind of jumped up to the plate and trying to help you out. So I know it's nowhere near enough for the hours that you put in, but we really, really appreciate you volunteering of sorts to clear out our lake so it's safer for the boating community.
It is.
Feel free to send Hunter a Venmo request. Any shortage.
The main point of having Chip out, first off, was to introduce you to a knowledgeable waterfront contractor that we trust to send our clients to. Second point is don't be afraid of building waterfront improvements. As we mentioned earlier, very rarely can you almost double your investment from an equity standpoint. So don't be afraid of waterfront improvements. If you have any questions, give us a call, reach out to Chip, NB Boathouse at yahoo.com. And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.